That's why I just feel like it's sabotage as opposed to anything else. I just have to, and I guess it's because of Spygate and Deflategate. You and I talked about that. Basically, that really isn't anything. I'm not saying that bending rules is good. I'm just saying filming a Jets practice session, who cares? Welcome back, Benchwarmers. We're here to talk about some football. Patriots won the AFC Championship game last week. Seahawks won the NFC. On to Seattle. Corey.
Thanks, Bill. a lot of energy there. Yeah, conference championship weekend, as you said, is over. The Patriots and Seahawks are moving on, but we've got time obviously until the Super Bowl because there's a bye week. We got like a Pro Bowl or some weird games they play in between.
Yeah,
we don't care about any of that, so we're here to talk about some other NFL news, starting with obviously the famous Bill Belichick there and the situation with the Hall of Fame. So we'll get started there and kind of go from there. But your thoughts, sir, as a fan, or before we get started,
if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see here, please don't forget to slap that like button.
Slap it for us. Come on. It's free. It's free for you. It's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you think.
Hell yeah.
All right, I can't talk like that the whole time.
No, you can't. I can't even.
I'll look like this for some time to kind of go with it, but I can't talk like that the whole time. So, but that's how Bill talked, and I think it's crazy, bro. I think it's absolutely crazy. Obviously, the elephant in the room is that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Fame NFL coach.
Yeah,
and Corey is here to explain why. Go ahead, take it away. No, I'm just
kidding. I wish I could. I don't even. There's so many, rumors and things going around right now of who's involved and how this all happens, but. Yeah, it's kind of breaking the whole sports world, and a lot of people now debating and thinking about, because like the NBA Hall of Fame or Basketball Hall of Fame, they just put everybody in there because they include college and Olympics and everything. It's not just NBA. And baseball, I don't know. Since Scott Rowland got in a couple years back, it's kind of been like, I don't know, Jeff Kent, cool, I get. Like, there's just a lot of questions. Now the NFL kind of has a big question with not getting Belichick in.
And this was the one Hall of Fame, to your point, that we could like rely on and trust that they're going to make sure that only the best of the best get in. And because that really is what it should be. It's an honor to be in the Hall of Fame. It's not, if you wanted to just celebrate people, then the teams could put them in their ring of honor, right?
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame is where the best of the best that's where they, that's where they reside. So the fact that literally the best coach to ever coach isn't in there on his first try is more than baffling. It almost seems planned.
Well, you look at the number, you mentioned how like the NFL is the only Hall of Fame that really like is the best of the best. They've only have 382 people in the NFL Hall of Fame. Wow. That's not a lot of people compared to how many people have played in the NFL because the average career is 3.5 years. So guys are turning over constantly. The game's been being played for 60, 70 years as it is now, but obviously the NFL overall has existed over 100. But still, like, that's not a lot. So now, I don't know, the validity, and as you said, there had to be somebody or something behind this. We don't just get to this like, we'll see what happens in the voting, and he just doesn't get in, right?
Yeah, this seems, like I said, manipulated in some way or planned. I know a lot of people have been going around the internet talking about how former general manager Bill Polian and coach Tony Dungy, obviously people who were affected by the dynasty that was the Patriots, were some of the initial names to be noted as probably people that didn't vote for it in. But you read somewhere that those guys, or at least Bill specifically, did vote Bill in, correct?
Well, Bill Polian has had a little bit of confusing the last couple of days. He's initially came out and said he voted for Kraft, but he pretty sure he voted for Belichick, but he couldn't give it 100% guarantee. And then he went on to Sirius XM and radio and talked to somebody and said that he talked to the NFL Hall of Fame and they, with auditors, confirmed that he did vote for him, but that he did hear talks or people amongst the committee that, as a like punishment for the Spygate and Deflategate, like he shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, I guess, but it's just, if you go beyond those two, things, and beyond that, he still won more Super Bowls after those things, and they were all watching him even more closely. So that alone is a Hall of Fame resume beyond, I think, at that. So there's just a lot of things. And I think it's just that everyone hates the Patriots for winning all the time. And Belichick, as you noted earlier, is not very nice or pleasant to deal with all the time with the media. And those and former coaches and GMs that know him. So maybe that has an effect on how they vote for him, but it should only be based on the field and
the
numbers,
results, right? This isn't a popularity contest. He's not.
Right.
We're not voting to see if we want him to be a star in a show. You know what I mean? The point is, how did you perform? I get that it's a little bit different on the field because he's coaching, not playing, but the principle still stands. How did you perform? And the performance was the most rings by any coach, tied for the most by any franchise. Most playoff wins, second most regular season wins, most Super Bowls, like I talked about, and he did it all with basically one quarterback in the same situation. Like, I don't know, it's unprecedented. And you and I were talking about this last night because we had obviously the news broke yesterday, but today's Wednesday that we're recording. But you and I were talking about last night. It's not like because I tried to compare it to basketball, right? And we were talking. I was like, okay, let's say the NBA from our era, and these people are up for Hall of Fame consideration. There is zero chance that Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant aren't in the Hall of Fame on their first vote. Because if they're not, then what is the Hall of Fame, right? However, there are players that are like Draymond Greens, the Kyrie Irvings, the Klay Thompsons, right? Like sidekicks to maybe some of these main pieces that you're kind of thinking like, oh, I mean, that guy does, he's good. They won some titles, but that's the one where you can maybe debate and put him. That's not Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is in the Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant conversation, not in the other one. And that's why I just feel like it's sabotage as opposed to anything else. I just have to, and I guess it's because of Spygate and Deflategate. You and I talked about that. Basically, that really isn't anything. I'm not saying that bending rules is good. I'm just saying filming a Jets practice session, who cares? You know what I mean?
And you and I talked about, if you're filming from, the 300, 400 section and you're filming from up above, you're not getting any real audio from the practice. It's mostly just the video. And if I'm thinking about it, if I'm watching video of games they've played all season, I probably have more film from the games than I do that little practice that I'm filming. And they're not even in pads and real, you know what I mean? It's not the same, but also like, how many guys steal signals and stuff in the NFL and read lips of coaches? Like, there's a lot of other things.
Why do you think coaches do this, right?
Exactly.
With their clipboards and stuff over their mics.
Absolutely. Everyone's trying to work every corner and crevice you can get into to try to take an advantage. As the saying is, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? And it wasn't like the Astros where they went to an astronomical where they were planting microphones in
that's
rooms and like getting like all, that would be super extreme. We're not talking about that kind of stuff. Like,
right.
I don't know. I guess technically it's against the rules because they shouldn't be there, but it's not the end of the world. I think. But even then, again, if you move past those two things, they still won more titles after that, and not only that, to win 6 over 20 years, it wasn't like they won 6 in 10 years and then they sucked for 10 more, but were kind of good.
True.
Like there's different and like versions of the teams. There was an offensive built one, there was a defensive built one. There's weapons that guys who we know before, and then there's weapons we've never heard of these guys, and Brady's just making them look good. Like. They've done it all.
The Vinatieri saves us in Super Bowls times, right? Defense interception on the 1 yard line, and yeah.
So there's other things, Danny Amendola and all these other small guys that make little things. Wes Welker was huge at one point. Like there's a lot of guys that make big plays that
Edelman with that catch against the Falcons, James White in that comeback 28-3. Like he has the greatest Super Bowl comeback ever. Like, come on, man. Like I don't know. It is what it is. We could talk till we're blue in the face. Most people who are watching understand that Bill Belichick should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Bill Polian and Tony Dungy probably aren't watching us, so it doesn't really matter. And he didn't make it, so there's not much they could do about it. But
they were just mad because Belichick beat them as the Colts people all those years. So it's a little more to the heart for those guys, which I get, but also at the end of the day, like just look at the numbers on the paper, man, not about who it went against and you were one of those guys or teams in the way that they walked over. Like you beat them eventually and you eventually got your Super Bowl too. So it's all good. It just sucks that you got beat up. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like move on.
Dumb, but it is what it is. So that's I mean, honestly, next year he's getting in. There's zero questions in my mind about it now. Because if he doesn't, then who cares anymore? Why would we take the Hall of Fame?
He better get unanimous 50 votes next year.
40 they gotta make up for the non-first ballot, right? Yeah.
Stupid.
Okay. Let's move on from the Belichick.
You're over the Belichick hoodie. I get it. I wouldn't want to wear it all the time.
Brendan's back now. All right, here we go.
You're missing the cut off sleeve version though. That's the only thing we missed.
Yeah, I'm not cutting these though. This is a nice little jacket, Costco baby. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna kind of basically. I've learned actually. Now I'm thinking about it, this is an episode about coaching.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna tell a Super Bowl winning head coach who knows way more about football than both of us what he should have done in a game instead of what he did do. So don't listen to us, but hey, it's just our opinion. And
hey, but Sean McVay, if you're listening, let us know what you think.
Okay, so let's basically. I'm Corey and I. We talked about this. That's why we wanted to talk about it a little bit here. Is just some of the decision making that goes into what happened in this Seahawks Rams game. Obviously, the biggest issue was let's catch a punt, cleanly. That would probably be helpful. But that's it's a player mistake. Players make mistakes, bro. You know what I mean? It happens.
He slipped. It wasn't like he was standing there not moving and just couldn't catch it. He slipped and fell trying to get in position. Right. Ball hit off his shoulder. He couldn't get it. It was just
it is Seattle. Moment. It's wet up there. You know what I mean? So I get it. So it is what it is. We can't blame the guy for. I mean, we could be mad at him if we want, whatever. But I mean, it is. People make mistakes, so it is what it is. But this is the few of them here. Rams get a stop with a minute and a half left in the second quarter, and they get the ball punted to them. They're up 13-10, I believe, at this point.
Yep.
And all they have to do is waste a minute and a half. Now, granted, Seattle has all 3 timeouts, so it's not going to be easy. It's not just a kneel or a run and call it a day. But if you get one first down, we're going into the half up 13-10. However, Sean McVay decided to run the ball once on first down, timeout immediately, then throw it 2 times and punt it. Because it was 4th and 8, basically, because they didn't do anything. It was 2 incompletions after a 2-yard gain. And then Seattle basically took 30 seconds and 3 plays to come down, score a JSN touchdown, and go up 17-13 and a half. And that was basically the end of the game as far as the Rams having a lead. That was the last time they led. And I just thought he should have. Again, Sean McVay has won a Super Bowl, and he's been to another. And he's an extremely successful coach who knows a lot more about football than me. And his memory about football is absolutely insane.
For real.
But come on, bro. There was 0 other plays that you thought of besides pass the ball 2 times. And I don't know. Again, I'm not questioning everything, but what was that, Corey?
Well, I get okay. I think they were they didn't know what to do because you're on the road. You have a 3-point lead. You don't get the ball at half. You have a couple of timeouts, and you're at the 30 to 35. So you're not pinned back. And you're at a spot where you're okay, Mevis has been pretty good all year. He only missed 1 field goal with us. If we can get him in range, we might get a field goal at half and be up 16-10. Cool. But then, like you said, they ran the first one. Seattle calls timeout. Then they went to pass.
Incomplete.
So you didn't have to use a second timeout. And then they passed and didn't get anything. So you basically wasted maybe not even 30 seconds off the clock.
That's exactly what they wasted. It was 30
and
seconds.
Seattle gets it back. And then that one big play because JSN right in the middle. I don't know what happened.
51 yards right in the middle.
The back half or the back end of the Rams defense has been their Achilles heel to especially the last half of the season. And that's what came to play in this. JSN gets the big play. They get one more and then JSN in the corner and the momentum changed just like that. Seattle's up 4. They go into half. They come back out with the ball. Now they didn't score. I don't think on the first possession of the second half.
They stopped them,
but they never, like you said, they never had a lead again. So this leads us down to some other opportunities and things we're questioning, as you'll see here in a second.
Exactly, which leads us to the next one. And this one, actually, Corey is the one that brought up because I kind of forgot about this one. When they scored touchdown to Puka, they had the unsportsmanlike conduct play on Seattle that would have given them half the distance to goal, so they could have taken a 2-point conversion off from the 1-yard line as opposed to the 2.
No, actually, back up. The unsportsmanlike was on the 3rd and 12, I think.
Oh, that's right. That gave them the 40. First down.
Yeah, so it gave him the first down, and the next play they go to Puka in the corner. He gets the touchdown, and it's 31-27 or 26, and you're okay, now this is late third. This is not the fourth quarter yet. Yeah. So you're okay, do we take the extra point and just keep it 31-27 and move on? But in my mind, why wouldn't you take the 2-point conversion opportunity? You just got the momentum because of the whole unsportsmanlike. You've caught them off their heels and got the touchdown. And now you can kind of catch them off their heels with the 2, kind of like what we talked about with Chicago should have done with the Rams in the previous round. Catch them on their heels after that touchdown. Whoa, what just happened? Get the 2-point conversion. Rams could have made it a field goal game going into the 4th, which then leads us down the line to another opportunity that be changed because of this.
Because to your point, being down 4 or 5 is the same. But being down 3 or 5 is worth it. And that's what I've been teaching my wife lately. She's like, I don't get why they're going for 2. Sometimes I also don't get why they're going for 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're up, they're down 7 or they're down 2. And they're like, okay, well, you don't need to tie it. Like, I mean, unless there's like 30 seconds, I get certain situations, right? But most of the time it's on that gap, like that 3, 4, 4, 5 gap. If you can get it to be, so I agree with you there. But they didn't. They would, which is fine. You said early in the game.
This was late third. We're not in the fourth yet, so we got plenty of time in the game. So I understand not going for it, but like also like I don't know, being aggressive and that momentum at that moment. Why not take the opportunity to get within that field goal and really put the pressure on Darnold and their offense going into the fourth quarter?
True, because it's not like Sean wasn't playing risky.
No,
in the fourth quarter, Rams driving down the field. They're just inside the red zone, and it's 4th and 1. And they decided to go for it instead of kick a field goal to make it 31-30.
Correct.
And it was about 6 minutes, I think, left to go.
Yeah,
and I was like, actually, this sounds like a good idea. This is the risky Sean McVay that I like. 4th and 1, you're getting the drive down. They go for it, barely freaking make it. Matt Stafford has to.
I mean, Stafford, the play, there was nobody open, and you could tell he started to run right, then he went left, and the only reason I think he didn't get, or he got the first down is if you watch the replay, whoever on Seattle's trying to tackle him grabs his hand warmer, and it unbuckles, and he like throws it, and basically kind of loses Stafford in the grip, and Stafford's able to get that extra 1.5 yards to get the first down. So you're like, okay, I'm with you. Aggressive at the moment. You're down 4. Your defense hasn't really done great all game, so do you trust them?
But not bad either.
Not bad, but not great. Yeah. So do you trust them to make a big stop when it's needed? So you go for it and get it. But again, had it been 31-28, if you gone for 2 in the third, do you go for it on this 4th and 1, or do you kick the field goal to tie it? And we're tied with 5 minutes left.
Right.
See, that's where that 2-point conversion idea kind of comes into play a little bit on this 4th and 1, at least.
So let's ignore, just for sake of, because I agree with you, we'll ignore the could have gone for 2. And we'll move on to that same drive after they convert the 4th and 1. They get that first down, and that puts them into a 1st and 10 situation with like a first down being the 1 yard line. I think they were on the 12.
2 or 3, maybe. Yeah, it was close. They could have gotten another first down. They didn't have to score a touchdown on this 4th down, but they needed a first down.
Yes. So it's 4th and 4, a lot different than 4th and 1, and a lot less room. That's why I didn't like it as much, is because once you're smashed into the 10 yards that is the end zone, you don't have a lot of room with 12 or 22 people running around. I get that, 6 of them are right in the front there, but you don't have a bunch of room with that. And so that's when I was like, okay, now is when you take the 3 points, because then you create a 1-possession game as it's now down with only like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game.
You would have all 3 timeouts.
Correct.
Plus the 2-minute warning.
Plus the 2-minute warning. Exactly. But they didn't. They went for it on 4th and 4. Nobody was open again. Stafford tried to get at somebody. McVay was furious at it. I don't know if he was furious at Stafford for the throw, nobody getting open, or himself at the play call. But
yeah, I don't know. I've never seen him that animated. I mean, he's always animated, but him to take the card and put it in front of his face, and you can tell he's screaming at the top of his lungs, probably I'm guessing. But just like totally like that, I can't believe that didn't work. But I think also knowing like, holy shit, we might not have another chance because there's only 5 minutes and change left. So,
and they basically didn't. I mean, it was a great effort with the few seconds they had on the one timeout to basically get from like the 10 all the way to a touchdown.
Yeah.
And Puka, what a great catch by Stafford. Unfortunately, he slid inbounds as opposed to coming down out of bounds, because that would have been one play to try to get to the end zone.
But even then, they were going to be what? Maybe the 45.
Yeah, about almost midfield.
And then you got to
Stafford can play
anyway, so.
Correct, yeah. So it just, again, I'm not here to tell Sean McVay how to do his job, because he's very, very good at it. But these are some of the things that Corey and I thought could have been a little bit different in the way this game unfolded. So.
And again, if you get that field goal, make it 31-30, you got 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. Even if you would have, Seattle didn't score, even if you would have stopped them and had those timeouts and stuff and gotten the ball back with 55 seconds instead of 30, and you get that play, you still can spike it. You might still have 2 more plays after that to play with 30 seconds or so. You know what I mean? So every second when it comes down to it, but at the end of the day, 2020, so is what it is.
Better luck next year. Go Pats.
Always with the Pats.
All right, we're going to wrap up this coaching episode that we've got here, talking about some of the coaching updates. Obviously, there was a plethora of head coaching openings around the NFL with
10 total when it was all said and done.
Just so crazy. That's literally a third of the league lost a head coach and is trying to find a new one. And honestly, all they do is seems like they're just playing move around because a lot of head coaches are just, kind of got hired. We're not going to necessarily go in the order that we're hired. I'm going to give like a mini grade for what I think it would be. And we're just going to talk about it a little bit. It's, kind of just a couple comments from each of us. I'll have you start with this one, though. Falcons hire Kevin Stefanski, obviously last coach for the – sorry, people in the canyon are acting fools. Last head coach for the Browns. For being in Cleveland, he did kind of good, right? I mean, besides the whole – I don't know if it was him that decided that Baker wasn't good enough. I think that kind of the only botch that they really did was moving on from Baker too soon. But I mean, bro, it's Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's decent.
I mean, he lasted, 5 or 6 years? That's a long
One
time.
coach of the year?
Yeah, crazy.
So,
I mean, just
I give it like a B+, only because I don't know if it is just Cleveland. It could be just Cleveland. I chalk a lot up to it, but I won't give it an A. I'll give it that B+ just because I'm like, it could be him.
But with a healthy Penix and all those weapons, and Stefanski as an offensive guy, maybe there's something there.
Hold your breath on a healthy Penix. Hold your breath on that. Yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
Baker though is coming after. Obviously, that quote was can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. That was cool. Honestly, Stefanski handled it well though in the interview. In his opening press conference, he just said, it is what it is. Wish him luck, and we're moving on. So I was like, okay, that's good. That's just settles it. But what do you think? He's a good hire? Yeah.
Yeah, decent? I think it's a good hire. I think Atlanta's in a good spot. I thought they should have kept Raheem Morris anyway. But they cleaned house with GM, I think, and started all over.
I totally agree
as far as that goes. But Raheem. They have some nice weapons there. Pitts and Bijan Robinson and
Drake
London. So they've got some pieces. The defense was solid, especially the last 5 or 6 games. They beat the Rams that one night and Monday night. So they've played well. I think they have a chance to build on it. I just wish it would be Raheem, but I think Stefanski's a good hire for them.
I hope Raheem gets another chance because I don't think he did a bad job. So.
Yeah, he's either going to get another chance, or if what's his name from the Rams, the DC, gets hired, I think they bring Raheem back as the DC for the Rams. But I don't know if Shula's going to get anything now. There's only 2 spots left, so it's kind of run out of time.
Okay. I don't know if he wants any of those spots either, to be honest.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're one of them too. That's sad.
That's what I'm saying. What do you think I meant? All right. Speaking of Browns, we'll stick there. Because obviously they fired Kevin Stefanski. They took Todd Monken from the Ravens, actually. Ravens offensive coordinator.
Good luck, man. I don't know what to say. He didn't have a great ending with Lamar and running the offense for him, and you're going to Cleveland with Shador, who's can't run quite.
That's a Pro Bowler, okay? You watch your mouth. You mean Pro Bowl?
Yeah,
Shador.
like just like Belichick is a first ballot. Oh wait.
Oh wait, no.
The Pro Bowl lost its validity so long.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I don't even care if you have Pro Bowl. It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Absolutely. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. Good luck. I just don't know what they're expecting in Cleveland. And supposedly the owner went away from the GM and football operations or coach or football operations guys like idea of who they think he should hire, and he went a different direction than they all suggested. Which again, that just shows you Cleveland and what they do and how they do things. So good luck, Todd Monken. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. No other comments on that one. Moving on.
I don't think there is anything else to say.
Raiders and Cardinals both interviewing the Seahawks offensive coordinator, Clay Kubiak, son of...
Was it Gary or...
Gary Kubiak, thank you. I do think it was Gary. Which actually, bro, Seattle looks insane. I'm tired of the Sam Darnold applause with all the Geno Smith hate. Although you take Geno Smith off of a team, they go to a Super Bowl. You put Geno Smith on the team that have the first pick in the draft. So maybe it is Geno Smith, but the numbers don't. Geno Smith had a better completion percentage, more yards, more passing yards, 1 more touchdown, but 4 more interceptions. Yeah. That's Super Bowl? I don't know. So either way, what I'm trying to say is I think Clay Kubiak's a pretty good offensive coordinator because it seems like he could take anybody who's at least halfway decent in Seattle, plug and play. I don't know if I would take either of these jobs if I were him. But if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Raiders. What say you?
Yeah, I agree because it's the number one pick, a lot of cap space. They're going to give you some leeway and an opportunity in probably 2 or 3 years at least to build something and create a culture. So, Brady's in the building, so that's a helpful thing. I don't know. I just, of those two, because I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do with Murray because he's still under contract, and you guys have a high pick, but there's not really a lot of quarterbacks once Mendoza's gone. And Dante Moore's not in there. So I don't really know where the Cardinals are going or what their plans are or thoughts. So there's a lot of confusion in the desert.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely like to go to Vegas of the two if I had to pick.
Yeah, I agree. Ravens obviously got rid of John Harbaugh. They've taken Jesse Minter, Chargers defensive coordinator last year. He is basically tied to the Harbaugh family. Everything he's done has been with the Harbaugh family. He was with the Ravens previously. He was with Michigan previously. Obviously, he was with another Harbaugh last year. So I'm giving it a B just because I'm like, does a Harbaugh have to be in the building for this guy to be good, or is he good without them?
Has the Harbaugh rubbed off on him and he's finally, this is his chance. And, Baltimore and Pittsburgh typically, Baltimore and Pittsburgh both usually pick the right guy and, again, give them time. Baltimore's been a team for like 25 years. They've had 3 coaches. So it's not like they're turning guys over. Now, I will say a lot of that is Harbaugh, obviously, with
18 of it,
but still, it might be closer to 30 years on the team than I think about it. But regardless, like they do things the right way. So I think having a younger guy come in, former Harbaugh guy, because it doesn't sound like Harbaugh and Lamar got along necessarily, but Minter's a defensive guy, so maybe he hires an offensive guy and just stays out of the way. Lamar and that guy figure it out, and Baltimore's back to what they used to be. So, a lot of optimism there. But again, I think Baltimore always does things the right way, so I kind of trust their decision with Jesse.
Yeah. Okay.
Hard to argue with their track record.
Yeah. Well, that leads us to New York, where John Harbaugh went. I think this is a great hire, to be honest with you. I give it an A. And I'm not necessarily giving John Harbaugh an A. I just think that it's a good fit in the sense that he is neither offense nor defense. So he's not really, he's the special teams guy, right? That's his, and a gel guy and a motivator guy and that kind of coach. And I just feel like that's kind of what the Giants need. They have a bunch of young talent and they just need that veteran leadership, I guess you can say. And I think he brings that. I'm hoping he brings in, good offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators to, unless they're staying. I don't know if his, like what happened there. I'm assuming it's all
Monken went to Cleveland. So now there's talk of are Monken and Harbaugh both trying to bring guys that were in Baltimore with them to their new respective locations, which means that might change some plans for Harbaugh and who he thought he was going to be able to bring over with him from Baltimore, because if Monken is, poaching some of them, then kind of reevaluates his whole coaching staff moving forward. So again, great hire for the Giants. It all makes sense on paper. I wanted him in Tennessee, but I get it. It's New York. So, it is what it is. No arguments there. It was a done deal. I think once he got fired that we kind of knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's a good hire. I think it's good for both. So good luck to both of them. I mean, I'm not a Giants fan, so maybe not good luck, but good luck to John. All right. NFC, we're keeping the AFC East. We'll stay on the East Coast. Jeff Hafley has been hired by the Miami Dolphins. He was previously the Packers defensive coordinator. Yeah. I give this one a C because I don't know. I put it right in the middle because I just don't know. They went from an extremely offensive-minded coach to they just, I guess, didn't like it, so they just went to the opposite of a defensive-minded coach. But I don't know if Miami has like a sense of direction. Tua is still confusing. Yep. The defense wasn't really the problem, so I don't know why they felt they needed to improve it by hiring a coach that is defensive-minded. I feel like offense was still the problem. I don't know. I just don't know. So I'm going to say C until Hafley can prove me wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I think part of it is the new GM I think they hired came from Green Bay as well. So there's like a connection there and, kind of a thought process of how they want to build an organization and a team. So I think that's more of the thought process there than this is the best hire. It's more of a, we see eye to eye in football and let's go see what we can build in Miami. And maybe going away from the offense into maybe is a benefit thing for him. Cause if they're going to keep him, and he's got to get better somehow, but I don't know if that's the case. And if they move from him, it's not like they have a top number pick. And again, there's no quarterbacks in this draft, so I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback if they.
Yeah, they got one, and he's going to be taken. You know what I
mean? Yeah, exactly. So,
speaking of that, real quick, that's why I think we should trade Kyler because I think he has a lot more, especially for the Jets.
Well, there's There's even rumor that Baltimore would be open to moving Lamar. So who knows?
I'll take him. Straight trade. Straight trade.
Yeah, Kyler Murray to Baltimore.
Yeah, right. That's not happening. That's okay. That's all right. Okay, we'll stay in the AFC East. Move up to the freezing, from the sunshine to the snow. Yeah, Bills promote Joe Brady from offensive coordinator to head coach after firing Sean McDermott. This is the worst hire of the ones that we've talked about, in my opinion. Not that I don't think Joe Brady could be a good coach. I don't understand it. And a lot of this Nick Wright kind of pointed out, and it kind of made me think about it. Like, it makes sense. The Pagula family came out and said, we got to get rid of this guy, but we're going to promote the GM. We think that the GM is doing a good job. 55 draft picks, only 2 Pro Bowlers. So not that good of a job.
One of those being Josh Allen.
Correct. which is Brian Daboll's fault. You know what I mean? That he's so damn good. And so I just don't understand. Everyone kept blaming the coaching staff.
But then
wasn't this guy on the coaching staff? In fact, Sean McDermott is a defensive-minded coach. If anybody was really pushing for Keon Coleman, wouldn't it have been the offensive guy that you just promoted? Do you see what I'm seeing here?
They talked about they wanted like a change of culture, but again, keeping somebody within that culture doesn't really change it a lot. It might change it, here and there, but not
correct. Not everyone's exactly the same.
The only reason I think he's still there is I think Josh Allen said, I want him to be here because him and I see the game the same way on the offensive side of the ball. And that's great.
Think Joe Brady,
why does he have to be the head coach? He can still let Josh Allen tell him, look, go hire a really good defensive coordinator so we can get this defense figured out, but keep Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator because him and I have something working and we want to continue to build on it. But hire whoever you want as the head coach, but tell them the one detail is you're not hiring a new offensive coordinator. Josh Allen wants Brady, and if you want to coach Allen, those are the rules. Solve the problem. But instead, they promote him, so how much is that really going to change the culture, or is it kind of, in a weird way, it'll kind of similar, not exactly, but to the next one we're going to talk about is the Steelers. Is it really that much of a culture changer from McDermott to Brady?
True. So real quick before we jump, sorry. For the Brady thing too, something else that kind of is okay, and Nick Wright brought this up, so I'm not trying to freaking basically just put first things first on this show, but he had a lot of decent points about this specific hire. So Joe Brady is, and to your point, that probably makes sense. Josh Allen vouching for him and saying, I want him around. He wants him around because he likes, I'm assuming, his play calling. Mm-hmm. It's pretty rare in the NFL, rare air, that you are a really good head coach that also calls plays. I'm talking Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, maybe we can give it to Ben Johnson for one season in Chicago.
Only 1 year so far, but okay, yeah, I got you.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And so if Joe Brady is going to be calling plays, is he going to be paying attention to the rest of the team? Or if he's paying attention to the rest of the team, is he going to be calling plays?
This goes back to the theory you and I talked about the other day when we weren't recording about how some guys are just meant to be coordinators and not focus on anything else but one side of the ball. That's your specialty. You're really good at it. You get the best out of guys. Sometimes you don't need to push it all the way to the top. Second step up is okay sometimes. And if you're a good coordinator and you can get a good team to play, as you talked about, and you, as an example, you said Spagnuolo in Kansas City. He tried to head coach. It didn't work. But you know what? I'm a hell of a defensive coordinator, and I've got a lot of rings to prove it.
Let me go win some Super Bowls with Andy. You know what I mean? And the same thing, another example on the other side of the ball that I used last night was Josh McDaniels.
Yes.
He tried to be a head coach at Denver. Didn't really work out. Tried to do it in Vegas. Didn't really work out. You know what I am good at? Calling offenses in New England. And now where are they at? Back in the Super Bowl. So that's kind of where I think Joe Brady could have been. But honestly, we could be wrong. We could be including him in that list of names if we see how it pans out next year.
Well, and how many times do we see in sports where a coach gets fired in the middle of the year and the interim guy is just somebody from the bench who moves up and then the team goes on a run and makes the playoffs or even wins the whole fucking thing? The Pittsburgh Penguins, when they won the title that first time of the back-to-back. It happens. The Cavaliers, they fired, what's his name? Not Adelman. Who's that guy they had coaching before Tyronn Lue? I don't even remember his name. Came from over in Europe. Anyway, They put Ty Lue in the middle of the year. They go on, they end up winning the title, beating the best team in the NBA history at 73-9 Warriors. So interim coaches can do it. It can happen. I don't know if this is one of those cases, but again, the AFC East besides New England is kind of theirs to grab. It's Buffalo, New England, I think, moving forward. So
David Blatt.
David Blatt. I knew it was a B in there somewhere. Damn.
Yeah. David Blatt. Okay.
But
yeah, I totally agree. So again, I'm not saying this is my worst one just because I don't, to your point, what changed, what culture, isn't this the guy you just blame for the bad picks? Who's going to be calling the plays now? There just seems to be too many question marks with the promotion, and that's what I don't get. But moving on to the one that you mentioned, Steelers hired Mike McCarthy. He was born in Pittsburgh. That's the connection.
Terrible hire.
So this is where I'm confused, and maybe you can explain it to me. And I think we talked about it a little bit. I'm not saying it's a good hire, but I don't understand why everyone's so mad at it. I'm not saying we should be applauding it. To me, it's neutral. I'm giving it like a B-, C+. That's kind of like
I'll give it a C as a neutral grade.
Okay.
But just thinking about it, like Tomlin's been in there and he's kind of, he doesn't really raise his voice. He's kind of, for the most part, he's a pretty calm guy.
He seems even keel.
Yeah. And, that's been good because they've been 8-9 or 9-8 or whatever, 10-7 for like all these years. They haven't been to a Super Bowl in 15 years.
Not 8-9 because he's not.
They haven't had, well, you know what I mean. But they haven't had a good quarterback since Roethlisberger in the last couple of years. That was rough. So like, it's just kind of like, it's kind of stale. Maybe it's time for a change of culture and new voice. Mike McCarthy is the same thing. He's older and I think just as like blah, 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 blah. Like,
but he's offensive minded.
There is that. Oh, and then great. Now him and Aaron Rodgers can reunite. What the hell is the point of that? Rodgers is 42. He looked like shit last year. So McCarthy was good in Dallas, but again, they were the same thing. 10-7. They were terrible the one year that Dak was hurt with his ankle. So I'm not going to hold that against him at 4 or 5 wins. Well, 8 wins here, 9 wins here. They maybe 10 or 11 one year. They make the playoffs. They lose and they get murdered by the Packers at home in the wild card round. It's literally the same thing Tomlin was doing in Pittsburgh. Now it's just Mike McCarthy, and he's from Pittsburgh and grew up here. Cool. That doesn't help them on the field. That team was crying and sad and broken up that they that Tomlin left or whatever. I don't think McCarthy's coming in there and getting everybody on his side that quick and going to make that much of a difference. So I think the Steelers, and looking at their track record, they don't hire guys that are older in their 60s. They hire guys that are younger and give them leeway and time to build something and are there for 10 plus years. Cowher was there for 12 or 13, 19 for Tomlin, and Chuck Noll was there for like 30 some years. Like, they just don't do it this way. So it's just if I was a Steelers fan, I'd be like, what the hell? This is not the normal way we do things. What are we doing? And if it doesn't work, I think they're going to look even worse next year. And then I don't know what McCarthy's going to do or what he's going to be able to say.
All valid points.
Okay, now your side from thinking it's a good hire, at least a decent hire, maybe not the great hire, but not a terrible one like I do.
I just don't know what their goal is. They have. So to your point, I guess I don't think it's terrible because I don't know what the end point is. Relevancy is still a thing, and I think Mike McCarthy is a decent coach. Everyone was like, "Oh man, freaking A." That here we go in Dallas, and then it was like, oh, okay, man, you're actually doing better than I thought. Dak is doing pretty good. He, okay, all right, that's fine. They didn't win anything, but who the fuck does win in Dallas? You know what I mean? That's like holding it against the guy. That's like holding against Robert Saleh in New York. Like, oh, you didn't win with the Jets. Well, no shit. Who does win with the Jets? You know what I mean? So, well, again, people have won with the Cowboys. It's just been 30 plus
years. Steelers, like the
again, I get it. What I'm saying is like.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is just like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. He's a decent. We know he's not a bad coach.
No, he's not.
They didn't go out and hire Josh McDaniels, who we know have seen failed being a head coach multiple times.
Yeah.
Or go and grab Mike McDaniels from Miami. Yeah. Again, I like Mike McDaniels, but I think he seems to be the type to just be the coordinator role. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is it's an adult in the building. Who knows? The more and more you talk about it, I don't think it's as good of a hire anymore. I'm with you on the C's, maybe not even the plus. But I just didn't hate it. I guess.
I could be wrong. I'm not a Steeler fan, but I just, again, looking at their track record, it's the same family Rooneys that have owned them forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They've never not done like the things they do the way they do, and they've been successful for so long that you're like, okay, keep doing what you're doing. Now, again, we talked about Tomlin and them having not won a Super Bowl in 15. They haven't had a losing season in like 20 years overall as an organization. So them as a whole is doing something right. They draft really well. They get a lot of good play, except for quarterback, apparently. But defensively, they always have really good linebackers and corners. I don't know. If I'm a Steeler fan, I'm not like, yeah, excited. I thought they would hire somebody young, like in the Rams Shieldhouse, or the guy who's running their pass coordinator, or some of the Jaguars offensive coordinator, like a young guy, and then give him the opportunity and the road ahead of him to build something. I just don't know if that's what something McCarthy's going to be able to do in his 60s. It's kind of like I know Pete Carroll's in his 70s, but it's kind of like Pete Carroll in Vegas last year. Like, it's a good hire, but like, I don't think the timelines match or make sense.
Yeah, valid point. Well, we're going to wrap up with, I know this is you didn't want to talk about this one too much. Yeah. So I know you'll be quick and short on this one, but now, brother, you have a new head coach. I know you were talking about you wanting John Harbaugh. He obviously took a job in New York, being that the names just kind of match on Broadway kind of thing. You know what I mean? But Titans, Robert Saleh, last obviously was the Niners defensive coordinator, which is insane because I think he was playing with practice squad people and having them basically in an NFC division game. So that's pretty good. You were initially not as happy. Yeah. However, you were initially
I was concerned. Like, I'm like, it's okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. I think as Cam Ward is the future of the organization and the team, we should have hired an offensive-minded coach to build with him. But
once you heard that they were going to get Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator, your opinion changed, correct? And if so, I have almost nothing to say. I think Brian Daboll is a good offensive coordinator. I am honestly shocked he did not pan out in New York, to be honest with you. I really thought that was a huge hire for New York, and I'm shocked that it didn't pan out. Maybe he's on the list of let's just be good at coordinating. That works right out perfectly for you. Yep. So besides that, and I think Robert Saleh is a good defensive coach, he coached for the Jets. Why wasn't he successful? I just said he coached for the Jets. I'm not even I put 0% of what happened in New York in his tenure on him. It's just a disaster to be there. So those are my brief opinions. Tell me why you really are excited about this upcoming season.
Yeah. So now that we've got Daboll, and now it changes my aspect, because I was like, okay, cool, solid, but like our defense was pretty good. Like, it was probably 15 to 20 overall rank. I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't think we were in the bottom 5. So like, okay, we got Jeffrey Simmons. We got a couple pieces there. And Cam Ward looked good, and as the year went on, he looked better. So I thought an offensive head-minded coach would be better. Now, Saleh comes in, just focus on the defense. He brings in an offensive-minded guy who was able to coach Josh Allen and Danny Dimes and a couple other guys to do some good stuff. So then also today I read that he's bringing his quarterback coach with him that was with him in New York and in Buffalo. So that is falling. So now I'm like, okay, now we got $100 million in cap space. We got, I think, top 5 pick. You've got the quarterback. So spend the money in the free agency, get an offensive and defensive line built strong, draft some weapons and some corners, and let's go to town. The AFC South is not the hardest division. It's kind of NFC South-ish, not quite as bad.
Not that bad,
but it does fluctuate with who's winning it year to year. And Houston was good this year, but defenses don't always, stay together and be that good year to year. So there's going to be a little drop off. Hopefully CJ Stroud gets a little better, but also not for me against the Titans.
True. Yeah.
And,
I got you.
The Jags had a great year, but who knows if they can repeat that with the second year coach and that kind of things happen. So, there's an opportunity there to even maybe sneak in. Every year we talk about this. Is it 2 teams that make the playoffs the year before don't make it, or 2 new teams make it every year? So
yes,
maybe Titans are one of those, from worst to first next year. I don't know. There's just a lot of anticipation and excitement. And then I also read that there's rumors we're getting new jerseys and logos next year. So,
I wonder if it's like a complete revamp, or I wonder if it's like a.
So from what I've read, it's going to be basically the logo now, but without the flame on it. They're going to get rid of the flame.
Cool.
And they're going to change the T a little bit, and it's going to. And somebody's even thinking they might go back to the Oiler light blue and red, which I would be down.
That's kind of sick. Yeah.
But the circle logo part seems to make sense because all the renderings of the new stadium in certain spots have that logo without the flame. So everyone thinks they're going to have the new jerseys and logo this year, and then when they move into the stadium the following year, the logo's already in the building and they're wearing it, and it all kind of goes in line. So a lot of good things coming in Tennessee. Hopefully this is a good start with the coaching, but I don't know. We'll see. You never know. I felt really good about Vrabel. It worked out for a while, ended badly, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think the combo of Saleh and Daboll is what you kind of needed. I think it just fits, bro. I think it just fits. So honestly, excited for the Titans, bro. Hoping it kind of works out for you.
Oh, let's hope.
Let us know in the comments below what you thought was the best hire so far.
Also, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at RVUFTB and tell us why the Titans had the best offseason as far as hiring coaches.
Right. Yes, they did.
Hey, just got to put it out there. But as always, appreciate everyone for stopping by.
And same things from RV from the bench. Remember, nobody loves you. Jesus loves you. Peace.
This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.